Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Ben here from The Virtual Economist, and welcome to part 6 in my Keys to Riches series. I know it's been a while since my last episode, but it definitely feels good to be back here making another video for you guys. Before we hop into the first trade, let's go ahead and review what we had at the end of the last episode. As you can tell here, we just had a lot of keys, 39 keys to be exact, and then we also had a Vivid Plasma Old Geezer, which is also a pretty nice unusual. So, of course, going into this episode, we're looking to buy a bunch of quick sells with our keys, and then also try to sell our old geezer for pure or for unusuals. Okay, so the first trade I got of the episode was pretty good. I was basically buying a quick sell kilowatt T-Shanter for the demo man. On backpack.tf, the T-Shanter had a price of around 31 keys, and this is before it got updated. It has recently gotten updated since I made the trade. But I could tell even right there that 30 keys for a demo 3rd gen, and the T-Shanter is a really bad demo hat. It just really doesn't make much sense, so I think I can safely assume that the hat is definitely inflated at the current backpack.tf price. Of course, for an inflated 3rd gen hat, I would want to get a pretty good discount, just because that is going to be really hard to sell, and to be honest, I'm probably going to wind up quick selling it anyway. So, of course, I wanted a big discount, and I think here I was getting around 40% off, which is always very solid. The seller of this hat was Merp, who's someone who's on Vatican City a lot. Honestly, he's a really good trader, and even though he started unusual trading just like 3 months ago, he has a backpack worth over like $4,000. So something's going right there. Anyway, of course, because he was experienced, he did know that that hat was inflated and thus a very bad hat. So when he quick sold it, he figured he would take a pretty big discount off of it, which is always great for me because it means I need to do less negotiating. Anyway, I went ahead and offered 18 keys because that's pretty much 40% off. He said he'd consider it, and then a couple days later, he said that he would be able to do the trade, which was pretty awesome. So of course, we did get the trade, and I was able to get the unusual for just 18 keys. While I did say that the unusual was really bad, like really inflated in 3rd gen, that doesn't mean that it's going to be a hard sell. Because I got it for so cheap, I can just quick sell it for like maybe 4 keys greater, and that's going to still be super appealing to some trader, because while the unusual might be bad, a good discount is a good discount, and they'll definitely do that trade. So it's really good here that I was able to play off the experience of the other person to get a good deal, and then I'll probably be able to trade it off to someone who's less experienced to continue getting a good deal. I think that's pretty awesome. Alright, so we got the unusual now, and this is what we have. We still have the geezer, now we have the T-Shanter, and then we still have some keys left over, 21 keys to be exact. The next trade I got was pretty insane, but also a little bit weird at the same time. So basically, I found this guy on Vatican City, and he was selling this purple energy gym rat for the heavy. It's actually a pretty nice hat because it's a purple energy hat that's only 28 keys. It should be a pretty easy sell if I were to get it, so I figured I might as well trade him up and try to offer the T-Shanter, which as you remember is a pretty bad hat. I traded him up and offered this, and he quite honestly wasn't that opposed to doing it. So I thought, okay, I might be able to get this deal. Even if I overpaid by around 3 keys and got a 1-for-1 trade, it would still be super good for me, because if you think about it, nobody in the right mind quick sells a 28 key heavy purple energy unusual for 18 keys, so it would technically be a pretty massive discount on a really nice effect. When I offered a 1-for-1, he really quickly wanted to do that, so it made me think a little bit. Like, maybe I should try to get him to add just a little bit more because he seemed really happy to do the trade as a 1-for-1. Of course, I was losing 3 keys, so I asked him whether he could add some cosmetics to even it out a little bit, around like 2 to 3 keys and items. After some negotiation, he was able to add a vintage killer's kabuto worth a little bit under a key and a half, as well as a strange bread bite worth around the same. So all in all, that was really close to 3 keys and items, so I could not complain at all. With those sweets added, we were able to make the trade on Steam. However, after we accepted the trade, he did not confirm the mobile authenticator for like a half an hour or so. I got really worried, of course, because I was like, oh crap, he's probably changed his mind. He doesn't want to do this. He also wasn't responding to my messages, so I figured this trade was pretty much just done. As in, it was not going to happen. And that was really frustrating for me because as an unusual trader, this happens to me more than I'd like to say. And it really infuriates me when we go through all the effort and time to make a negotiation and then it just falls off. Anyway, like a half an hour later, he finally responds to my messages, and he basically just is like, hey, I'm not interested anymore. So it was pretty much what I expected. So of course, I really wanted to get this trade, so I asked if there's anything we could do to change the trade that would make him do it. He really just wanted other unusuals of mine that I just wasn't willing to offer, because really the whole point of this was getting rid of my kilowatt T-Shanter. So I basically said, you know, I'm only going to do this trade if I can trade my kilowatt T-Shanter, which makes sense. He thought about it for a moment, and I figured we were pretty much at the point where he would just say no, and we would not get a trade at all. However, he suddenly just was like, I have to go, and just randomly accepted the mobile authenticator, and suddenly the items poured in. you can tell I was super confused, but also very happy that we were able to get the trade in the end. Trades like these really stressed me out, and I was just really glad that I was able to breathe a sigh of relief as we got a trade after all. The next trade I got was definitely more straightforward. Here I am just buying a Cloud 9 Magnificent Mongolian for the heavy. It's priced at 11.5 keys on backpack.tf, and I'm picking it up for around 8 keys. I think that's not a horrible discount, but it's also not amazing, but you know, on a low tier, it's definitely fine. It is 3rd gen and heavy, but it is still a low tier, you guys have to consider that, and so any low tiers are pretty easy to sell. Like, even if I can't sell this for like its full price, I could sell it for 9 keys easy and just make a key profit. So, you know, it's not bad at all. He's also adding in as a suite a specialized kill streak cleaner's carbine worth around 10 ref. It's not actually very easy to sell, so I'll probably wind up quick selling it for around 7 ref or something like that when I need to do that. Alright, so without further ado, we're just gonna make this trade here. Moving on to the next trade here, we are actually buying a Blizzardy Storm Cadaver's Cranium for the heavy. I think this is like the 3rd heavy hat of the episode, so it definitely seems like we're trading for a lot of them. Anyway, this is a really weird hat, and the price on backpack.tf is really strange. On backpack.tf, the price is around 17 to 26 keys, meaning that the average falls around 21.5 keys. Now, okay, that might seem fair, I mean it's a giant range, but there's another really weird thing, and that is that the hat is inflated. Now, you might not think it is because it's only around 20 keys, but if you look at all the other effects of the hat, like you can get purple energy for less than 20 keys, and this kinda tells me that Blizzardy Storm should not be over 20, so I figure it is a little bit inflated. But here still, I am picking it up for 13 keys, which is around an 8 key discount, so I really cannot complain about that. So anyway, yep, picking it up for 13 keys here, and that is actually the last of my keys. I have 0 keys after this. Alright, so this is basically what we have right now. So as you can tell, no keys but 4 unusuals. I figure I should go ahead and show you guys what they all look like because a lot of people in the comments have been asking me to do this. So anyway, here's the Blizzardy Storm Cadaver's Cranium. It's actually not that bad. Here's the Purple Energy Gym Rat, and as you can tell, it does look pretty amazing. And lastly here, we got the Cloud 9 Magnificent Mongolian, and as you can tell, at least in my opinion, I think it looks pretty bad. But anyway, moving right along to the next trade. Anyway, a little bit after that last trade, I looked on backpack.tf and noticed that there was a price suggestion on the Cranium that would lower its price to around 19 keys. So it would lower it around 2 keys. Now obviously I was being really stupid because I didn't think to check that when I traded for the unusual. And quite honestly, that was probably why the guy was quick selling. He was like, oh crap, the unusual is getting repriced, I better sell it while I can. Which, you know, it makes sense on his part. So I was kind of panicking there for a sec. I was like, crap, am I going to lose profit on this? So I decided, okay, I'll just quick sell it right now, list it on Outpost for like a little bit more, and then see if I can just get it out of my hands before the update hits. So anyway, that's basically what I did. Because I knew if the price update went into effect, I would have only bought the hat for around a 6 key discount, which, you know, it's fine, but not that good for a hard to sell heavy hat. So I was like, okay, I'll quick sell it on Outpost for 2 keys more, so I listed it for 15 keys. Fortunately, by the end of the day, I got this trade offer right here, and it is what I was looking for, except for there is a key in ref. But, you know, at the end of the day, I can just convert that to another key, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so let me just accept it right here. Yep, that does seem like what I want. That is, yep, 13 keys there, and then a key in ref, so that should be good. Alright, so I'm just going to accept this trade here, and I'll be able to grab the keys pretty quickly. Alright, as you can tell here, all the items are coming right on in, and here we got 33 new items acquired. Cool! Alright, so now, of course, the next step is to buy a key. Alrighty then here, so I should have received an offer here from scrap.tf for 1 key. I know in the past I've been buying keys by just creating a buy order on backpack.tf, but I realized that that's kind of pointless. I know someone in the comment section told me to use scrap.tf, and I was kind of thinking to myself, why have I not been using it in the past? So anyway, I'm just using it now, and I think I'm buying a key here for 17.77 ref. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do, so I'll get this key right here. Okay, so here it is. We got 1 new item acquired. Alright, so on to the next trade. This next trade I got was actually really nice. So it is in fact going to be the last trade of the episode, but it is a pretty good one. In this trade, I'm actually selling my Vivid Plasma Old Geezer for 20 keys pure. If you remember from last episode, you'd know that it is in fact duped, but it's also worth 22 keys. So I basically sold it for 2 keys less than its backpack.tf price, which is still really good. Anyway, this guy added me, he was a pretty cool dude, and he actually wanted to offer on my hat. I think he saw it on Outpost and was willing to offer pure. Of course, I asked him if he could do 22 keys pure, since that was a backpack.tf price. He said he really couldn't do that just because my unusual was duped. and that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, after a little bit of negotiation, we were able to settle on around 20 keys, which is 2 key less than backpack.tf, which obviously is still good, so I accepted the trade, and as you can tell right here, the trade did go through. So yeah, I really cannot complain at all about that trade, and quite honestly, I don't really think my trading partner can either, because it is a really nice looking unusual for just 20 keys. Anyway, I do think this is going to be the end of the episode here, and as you can tell, I do have 35 pure keys after selling both the unusuals, as well as having the Purple Energy Gymrat and the Cloud9 Magnificent Mongolian. Next episode, I hope to buy some more quick sells and try to see if I can sell my other unusuals for pure. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.